This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video. We had an open scrimmage yesterday, led to some big-time surprises, some big breakout players, maybe some concerns that we need to address. But I can tell you one thing, it's no need to panic. But everyone's going to panic. Maybe not. Maybe they will. I don't know, but let's roll the intro and let's talk about it, baby. Let's go. Open practice happened yesterday at a high school field down there in Denver, Colorado. And boy, oh boy, it was fun to watch. Got a lot of clips. A lot of people were talking about it. There's this nasty spin move that happened. I think it was from Hayes on Houston. It was beautiful. A lot of things we've got to break down. Again, breakout players, what looked good, what didn't look good, who stood out to who. Keep in mind with all of this, right, is that you want to take as much as you possibly can, because we as fans, we're just earning. We're chomping at the bit here to get what we can from these things, to get as much knowledge of what's going to happen week 1, week 2, week 3, right? Be perfectly frank, you're not going to get too much. But that doesn't mean we're not going to try to get as much as we possibly can. Shedeur looked like Shedeur. Travis Hunter did not play. All is good, but just kept him rested up. No big deal, no problemo. The edge rushing group, the D-line group looked phenomenal. Looked legit as they come. Samuel Okinola, the transfer from Pitt, looked like the real deal, coming from insiders, guys that were there at the camp. Really excited what he's going to be able to do. Said it looks like he's going to be playing on Sundays in a year to come. Although he has an extra year, looks like he could play on Sunday next year if he wanted to, if that were to be the case. That's how good he looked headed into, or as of yesterday. Dalen Hayden and Charlie O were kind of the 1-2 punch like we thought they would. Really believe Hayden's probably going to be the number one guy headed into week 1, but you've got a nice solidified 1-2 punch at the running back position. And although there were some concerns, which we're going to address here in just a moment, on the offensive line, the running backs did well. They ate. They were able to get up and down the football field. However, there was multiple times, I think it was plus in the teens, that Shedeur was sacked. Now, again, sacked is just being touched, hand touched him. One of those guys being a big disruptor, Tajay McCoy. Sophomore commit, just committed to Prime in his first cycle at Colorado. Made some massive noise, turned some big heads, which we'll get into that in a moment when we talk about breakout stars. But again, plus in the teens for the sack percentage. But again, the reason why we can't panic is, again, because, like I just was alluding to, is that it is practice. And when they head to these open practices, they're not going to give you everything. And what that means is basically it's backyard ball. We're drawing plays in the sand, boy. Shedeur's going to get down on the ball and go, you're going to do a little post, you're going to do a slant, and the O-line's going to have to figure that out. Not to mention, they're slicing and dicing the O-lineup. You got the 3 guys with the twos with the ones. It is just kind of run and gun football, and what's going to be shown, what you're going to see out of this, is raw talent. This is why defense always does well in pickup games. Defense does well in the Under Armour games. Defense do well on these quick pickup 7-on-7s, because you're able to really capitalize on your raw talent, and there doesn't have to be chemistry with somebody else. When you're a wide receiver, you have to have chemistry. You have to have connection with the guy throwing you the football. Same thing with offensive line. You got to be synced up with the guys in front of you. You got to work as a unit, a cohesive unit, to really get things done. And when you're playing this kind of 1-2 ball and you're drawing things in the sand, it allows for you to get eaten up. Not to mention, these practices are meant to expose weaknesses. These practices are meant to put these guys in the team in uncomfortable positions. They're going to put this offensive line and these guys in the worst possible position to really crank out that weakness. If you have a perfectly ran practice, which is impossible because you're playing against each other, you're going to have question marks of, like, either we're just not pushing the envelope enough or something's not right? So you want guys to get exposed. That's going to happen. But what we saw is kind of what we've been hearing all campus. The defense is just looking exceptional. And we talked about it in the last video. Defense ranked 127th out of 131. If this defense bumps up 20 spots, by golly, what are you going to do? But this sounds like, from what we're hearing, it could jump up 50 spots. I don't know. I'm ramped up, as you can tell. We're going to play a clip from Coach Prime before we talk about the breakout players, because there's a few more that really stood out, which, again, I'm not surprised these guys are standing out. Tajay McCoy is a big one that I'm really excited to hear about. Samson Okinola, thought he would do well. Expected big things from him from Pitt. But let's talk about this really quick, because we talked about it yesterday on how Colorado sits in the Big 12 Conference. And when I take a look at these odds, again, this show is brought to you by BetUS. Link is in the description. On your first 3 deposits, you get back 125% up to $2,000 when you make a deposit using the link in the description, but plus 2,600 for Colorado. Look, I think Utah and Oklahoma State, by far the best two of the class. Kansas State, you could argue up there as well, but do I believe that Iowa State, Arizona, and UCF are that much better than Colorado? No. I don't think it's that much of a distance. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think these odds are phenomenal. Again, when you're taking these chances and you're making risks, you're making investments, that's kind of what gambling can be in a way, is if you're confident in your ability, is the return on your investment. And when you have plus 2,600, I just feel like, look, it's not a guaranteed lock like the Utah is a much lower odd because they feel more confident in that pick. But I don't believe that UCF is plus 800. I feel like Colorado could easily be and arguably be up there. Maybe after week 1 and 2 or 3, these odds are subject to change. So keep that in mind. But again, use the link in the description below to check out BetUS. Now, let's talk about the breakout players. First being Will Sheppard, wide receiver from Vanderbilt. Now, what excites me about Will Sheppard is going to go completely unnoticed with the talent that's already there with Jimmy Horn, Travis Hunter, alongside LaJohntay Wester as well. These are just top-tier talents. And let's not even get into the secondary with Terrell Timmons, who also had a breakout game. Again, I know it's a scrimmage. Was able to see more time on the field with Travis Hunter taking a sit. But Will Sheppard is truly going to eat. Will Sheppard had 684 yards last year with 8 touchdowns at Vanderbilt. Nowhere near the type of quarterback that he's going to be working with. Not to mention, he was the guy at Vanderbilt, meaning he's dealing with double coverage, meaning all eyes are on him. I just went over the list that he's going up against. So imagine now you've got Will Sheppard, who was the guy who had a pretty well season at Vanderbilt, operating in this kind of offense. He's going to be someone fun and special to watch, and I'm really excited to see. Again, there's so much talent in this wide receiver core. You could really pick anybody, but really good to hear that he is making a good connection with Shedeur and doing great things. Next being Tajay McCoy, coming off the edge, had 4 to 5, 6 sacks on Shedeur Sanders. You love seeing a guy that committed to Coach Prime just over a year ago find himself really developing in this program alongside the additions that are coming in off the edge. Again, this position group, Tajay McCoy doesn't really jump off the depth chart. But again, I think this depth chart is going to change dramatically as the days go on. You got Dayon Hayes, obviously a transfer that came in. Keaton Wade that came from Kentucky. Those are all the kind of that buck/edge position. BJ Green, defensive end, Samuel Okunola. The edge, just that line, the beef there. We're not even talking about Chidozie Ngakwe right now, either in the center. The D-line has just beefed up and has added a ton of tremendous speed to it. And look, it's going to be something to watch. I got to tell you. And again, the cornerback room, we're going to play a clip here where Coach Prime talks about this cornerback room and Preston Hodge. Preston Hodge alongside Travis Hunter is going to be an absolute treat to watch next year. And he believes he's got 8 to 9 guys that are NFL ready and ready to rock and roll. Coach Prime did say that. So we're going to play that clip where he talks about the D-line and then, of course, just the talent and what Preston Hodge brings to the table here. Take a listen to the clip from last night.
When his number is called.
You also rebuilt the defensive line on top of the offensive line. Obviously, stopping the run a big priority.
It's priority.
How do you feel that group is coming along? There's a lot of new faces.
Feel pretty darn good. Coates and Chidozie are doing a wonderful job up front. We got several pass rush, on the outside that can get the job done, man. You can see it's going to be a problem. Throwing the football against us is going to be a problem. You can see the secondary is upgraded as well. The back end, the safeties are physical as ever. Shallow's doing his thing. Cam is doing his thing. Trevor's doing a wonderful job inside. Bentley is doing a wonderful job as well as JB and so forth. Depth is a key ingredient.
It seems like he's had a really good camp so far.
He's a dog.
Seems like an NFL guy. Yeah.
Preston Hodge is I just really sat in my office today and thought about the potential NFL guys. I think we're looking at 7, 8 guys on defense that'll probably be pros at the conclusion of the season. And that's not putting none on it. That's not lying. I talk to the scouts every day. I think a few of them are there to meet me today. Oh my God, is that my dog? It is. I know those guys. Awesome. Yeah.
Look, love hearing him talk great things about the defense and what they're bringing, especially the linebacker room and Bentley, seeing that he's doing some great things. But that defensive line is really going to be something fun to watch. Why I'm so fired up is because we're damn near end of football season, boys and girls. We are just a week and a half away. We've got a Saturday and then 5 days until that Thursday against North Dakota State where we get kicked up. But we get football next Saturday, week 0. We're going over to Ireland. Georgia Tech versus FSU should be a good one. Should be fun. So we're a week away from football. What that tells us, fall camp is now ended. This is kind of the close of fall camp. Monday essentially kicks off, which will be that week preparation. It's now getting into game mode, okay? So it's going to be a 2-week preparation, almost like if you had a bye week, right? But that's what this next 2 weeks are going to entail, is prepping for that game on coming Thursday on North Dakota State, which should excite all of us because it excites me. As you can tell, I'm also excited because we just surpassed 10,000 subs. Channel's growing like a weed. Before the season, we got there, and I appreciate it. I love you guys. Be sure to...
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.